Libertarianism is obviously false. It only attracts selfish jerks. Welcome to Friday Fallacy. This week we're looking at the psychogenetic fallacy, or bulverism. The psychogenetic fallacy is when an argument is dismissed because of its proponent's motivation in making it. That is, rather than address an argument's merits, one's opponent's psychological state is analysed. This is not a sound way of arguing, as the psychological motivation for an argument is irrelevant to its soundness. That a pro-life advocate regrets having had an abortion in no way means that their arguments are fallacious. That a pro-choice advocate regrets not having had an abortion in no way means that their arguments are fallacious. Some examples of the psychogenetic fallacy. Republicans just hate the poor and want to punish them. Religious people just want the comfort, that's the only reason they believe. Atheists are just angry at God, that's why they don't want to believe. The left all love big government because they want to be looked after. Not all discussions of people's psychological motivations are the psychogenetic fallacy. It is a legitimate question to ask why someone is advancing a particular argument and what psychological factors are motivating their position. But while these may be interesting questions in their own right, they do not address the question of whether their position is sound. Most of us have come to various beliefs for irrational reasons, or are ardent promoters of particular positions for emotional reasons. That, in itself, doesn't make our beliefs irrational. We can have an emotional attachment to a position while also having logical reasons for it. One way in which a person's psychological motivations are relevant is when we are unable to evaluate the merits of a particular argument directly. When we are asked to accept someone's subjective experience, or when the discussion is outside our area of expertise, we cannot directly judge the merits of the position. In this situation, we are forced to evaluate the likelihood that the person advancing a position should be believed. Whether that person has a compelling psychological reason for making the argument is relevant in whether we should trust their claims. So, someone who is strongly emotionally attached to a position should not be taken as trustworthy as an independent expert. However, neither should be trusted all that much, if that's the only evidence to go on. So while someone with a psychological motivation for advancing a particular position is less trustworthy, even an independent expert's opinion should be supported by other evidence, especially when considering extraordinary claims. One area where the psychogenetic fallacy is often used is in politics. Political debate has few objectively true facts, little independent analysis, many confounding factors, and a tradition of a very low quality of discussion. All this makes coming to a reasoned choice between various candidates or parties difficult, and reasoned debate is rare. This leads to a candidate's psychological motivations being used as a proxy for the quality of their argumentation. So conservative policies are derided as motivated by contempt for the poor and vulnerable, whereas liberal policies are criticised as fanciful wish-thinking divorced from economic reality. In either case, the actual merits of the various policies are often left unaddressed. The most egregious use of the psychogenetic fallacy is in discussion of religion. The fallacy was first termed bulverism by C.S. Lewis to describe the fallacious rejection of Christianity because of believers' psychological motivations. That is, atheists often explain religion's popularity in terms of its psychological attraction, and while this can be a useful explanation, it isn't actually an argument against the truth of religion. When we use religion being an opiate of the masses as an argument against its truth, we have fallen into the psychogenetic fallacy. Equally common are the theistic dismissals of atheists as being motivated by hatred or rejection of God. Not only are these charges wrong, but they are irrelevant to the question of whether God actually exists. In conclusion, the psychogenetic fallacy is when a claim is rejected because of the psychological motivations of its proponent. Until next time, keep your fallacies to yourself.